Hi, ever wonder what it's like to work another profession or live in the underworld? Listen to unsuspecting riders give a 10 to 15 minute personal masterclass as I spontaneously interview them as they enter my taxi. I'm your host, Simon Rushton, and this is Taxi Chronicles. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider. Today we have an interesting character, ancestry from Syria, and she's a writer. Her name is Saba, and for those who've lived in Kenya, you know that's number 7 in Kiswahili. And she's going to tell us about the book deal and generally why she got into writing and what motivates her. So nice to have you here today, Saba.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You grabbed the phone now?
Oh yeah, sorry.
So what motivates you, and why did you start writing?
So I started writing because I love reading. That was really my way in. I always read as a kid, and I think it just kind of came to me one day that I could try it, and it was like as simple as that. And I went to uni. I studied English with creative writing as an undergraduate, almost by accident. Like, it's not a course that's offered at a lot of universities, and I just stumbled across it one day. And it was 2/3 English literature and 1/3 creative writing. And the first time I really ever wrote anything was as my application. And I got in, and I went to Manchester, and
What did you write in your application, as in? Did you have to write a creative piece?
Yeah, I wrote a short story about someone who writes a short story and then has it marked by a exam vigilator, and about
Very creative.
Yeah, I was just sort of interested in how they mark them, how objective you can be about something that's subjective. Yeah, and just what it means to learn how to be a writer, because I didn't know and I wanted to know, and that was my way in. And but yeah, it was great.
So what did you learn on that course? What were the main things that you learned on the course?
The creative writing section of it was mostly a lot of reading. They start small, so you read short stories and you read poetry, and it's you just look at the really fine parts of writing, sentence by sentence, picking apart the way that they're all put together, and kind of taking away just the tiniest. For me, it was always just about a tiny idea or a scene or a character or a line of speech. Anything could spring a story. When you've never done it before, it's kind of amazing really how little you actually have to think about it, how small you can spring from. Now it's so much more complicated for me, and I spend weeks and months trying to come up with an idea and trying to make sure that it's all going to fit together before I even start. It's almost you know too much, and then suddenly you're overthinking everything. But that beginning, it was so nice just to feel inspired by something so tiny. And so yeah, it was just it was seeing how you could start with the end, and you could just write your ending, and then you could bring in your beginning like a jigsaw puzzle and build around from that, and that could become a short story. And
so in the creative side of things, is it disregarding the rule of thumb about the traditional beginning, middle and end?
Yeah, that was a part of it. A part of it was looking at the rule book and throwing it away, and looking at form and how you can build a story and all of the different ways. Because I think that's what's inspiring, isn't it, when you're learning, seeing how you can try to break the rules and change things that you've always taken as script.
Okay.
And
what would you say to people who are considering want to become a writer like yourself, what would your advice be to them?
My advice would be to keep going, to treat it like anything, like you're building a house, or like you're doing your job. Like, you just try and write every day, even if you've only got half an hour, and just see what you can do, and in the end you will create something. And it is just like that. Like, it's never been easy, and I've rarely felt like it'll just flow out of me. And sometimes I've waited months thinking like, oh, there'll be a moment when you're just suddenly inspired and you just feel it. And it's not like that. It's like work. It's like anything. You just have to keep plodding along, and something comes out of you.
Would you say a lot of it is where you're getting inspiration is from just living life? So going places, trying new things, doing new things, and then you'll just feel a sense of wanting to write about things, or this would be a good story, or that would be a good story. Yeah,
definitely. And I think, like, since the whole world kind of shut down, I have really felt it in my writing. Like, I don't have the same ability to, like, pull a scene from my head, or to remember how a conversation flows. And I used to sit in cafes and write, and I'd just see characters, and I'd hear people, and it would just be like a constant world-building inspiration. And now it's kind of all fallen away, and I think, like, staying creative right now is really hard.
So what's your book called?
It's called SEND Nudes.
It's called what?
SEND Nudes.
SEND Nudes?
Yeah.
Okay, go on, that's it.
It's a short story collection. So there's 10 short stories. They're all about young women. I think my youngest is 9 and my oldest is 27. So they're kind of like, each one's different, but they're kind of linked just by the themes of what it means to be a young woman now.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm a bit concerned when you talk about SEND Nudes and then you're talking about a 9-year-old.
No,
You might want to elaborate a bit to justify me putting this podcast out, this episode out.
Oh no, one of the stories is called SEND Nudes, and that story concerns like a 27, 30-year-old woman.
Okay.
It's not, no, there's no sense of that, but I think there is a certain, like, it's about exploration, and it's about the female body, and it's about agency over your own self, and learning how much of that is possible to have in this world.
Okay. All right, so what have you learnt through your career in writing that you wish you knew when you had started?
I think it's just back to the whole, like, it being a job, and like, we live in a world where your creativity and your art and your hobby can, in an amazing opportunity, become something that you're paid for and something you rely upon to live. And while that is incredible and was the dream for me, it also is like a double-edged sword, because now that something I love has become something that I rely upon to live, it's difficult to keep the inspiration, to keep the pleasure, when you have to do it every day, and when you need to do it, and when the inspiration isn't just something that can come to you in the middle of the night every 6 months. It has to come constantly, and you have to just keep moving and keep at it and write through the writer's block and see what happens on the other side.
Okay. All right. No, sorry, there's a madman walking in the middle of the street, so I was wondering what he's trying to do.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, he's a nutter. So my last question is, what's the impact you want to have in the world?
Oh, that's a big one. I really like... I'd just like someone to read my book and to connect with it.
Okay.
That really is it.
That's very honest. I just want someone to read the book. Just read.
No,
Okay.
and just feel something in it that they see in themselves, or that they appreciate having being put down on paper.
Okay. So so where can people find this book?
It's coming out with Bloomsbury
Yep.
in January of next year.
Okay. Where can people find you if they want to link with you in the writing sense? Are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram mostly, yeah. I've got a Twitter, which I need to use more and I don't use as much.
Okay. So do you want to shout out what your Instagram handle is? Or you want to...
It's Sabasams, SABASAMS.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Sabasans.
Thanks for having me.
Much appreciated. And we wish you well on your forever book writing.
Thank you. What a good idea.
We hope you liked that interview. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to get the latest daily episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economy and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources? Then listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you will hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m.